Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be giving you guys certain things that I've learned in life as a young black lady now that I'm in my 30s. So if you want to see all that I've learned so far on this journey while I do my makeup, then keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to hop right into the video. I'm going to start by first saying that I had recorded, like sometimes I just record for YouTube and I just don't edit the videos and I just keep it for when I feel like editing. But I had a video that I had made that I was gonna actually post. And it was me doing my hair. I did like a cute half up, half down. So when I was recording, of course, you know, you always go in to check to make sure that the camera is still recording and, you know, your camera hasn't died and no glitches, you're still in the frame, all that stuff. So I was doing that while I was recording, no issues. Hair came out beautiful, no issues. Like, I love my hair. I did my hair on a whim because I was like in between hairstyles. I know I was about to get these braids, so I was just like, oh, let me just do like a quick little hairstyle. You know, I got some time. Hair came out so cute. I wish I could have kept it in longer. And then I went on vacation and came back, and then I was like, let me like go through some of my stuff so I can edit some of these YouTube videos. And the file was corrupted. And that's happened to me before. So I was like, okay, corrupted, I could correct that. There's like an app for that. There's like troubleshoot, like all this other stuff. So I wasn't immediately upset because I do remember when I was done recording, I remember looking back at the clips after I recorded. So I knew I had the content. So I was just not stressing. I was like, maybe my camera's doing a thing, or maybe I hit a button or whatever, but I'll be able to retrieve it. I have not. I won't get that video back. Like, the files are corrupted, that and other videos, and I don't understand why, because it's not like my other videos were filmed at the same time that those files corrupted, and what made them corrupt, I don't know. But that was very discouraging, like losing content and that much of it. Even though I don't put out videos on the regular, it's easy for me to record, it's difficult for me to edit. So I have like a bunch of videos, I just don't have the patience to edit. But just to know that I lost all my content makes me so mad. So I just wanted to record something, you know, so I can get back in the algorithm. So we're gonna be chatting today. This video isn't gonna be too long because I do have to go. But I'm gonna be telling you guys some things that I picked up on since I've reached my 30s that I wanna share. And of course it's still a journey, but I just wanna share a couple things because I don't feel like people talk about it as much, you know what I mean? So that's what we're gonna be talking about today. I'm not gonna pinpoint too much of what makeup I'm using because this is a mess. I just know how I like my makeup to look. I don't always do the same routine, so, but let's get into it. All right, so I'm gonna put on my primer. I don't know why I love the way primer feels on my skin. Like, I don't know. I don't know what they be putting in primer. I know it's that water-based, but it's so soft. Like, it just feels so soft on your skin. Like, I wish moisturizer, face moisturizer felt as good as what like primer actually feels like on my skin. Anyway, so for those of you that don't know, I am 31 years old. I'll be 32 in August of this year. So I am a 30-plus-year-old woman. And you know, with every age, you kind of get to the point where, well, hopefully every year, you get to the point where you reflect and, you know, you think of the past and like things you could have done better, things you would never do again or couldn't imagine yourself even thinking of doing and stuff like that as you get older. And I definitely reflect on myself every year, every quarter. I just like to reflect. But I just can't ignore certain things that were told to me, embedded in me, instilled in me from, you know, different directions on what it's like to be a woman in your 30s. So everybody lied, basically. Everybody just lied. And so, like, as I mature, I realized that everybody lied. Y'all lied. like shit, like literally. Okay, so this I will rave about. I got this Julia's Place foundation, I Am Magic foundation. I don't know if it's medium coverage or full, but I got it on sale. You know, I love me a little sale, and it smells so good, and it's so lightweight, and it's just like, I bought this out of nowhere. I was like, oh, sale foundation, I'll take it. And I've been in love ever since. But yes, back to my first point. So this list is just going to be compiled of things that I've picked up on, that I've learned since reaching my 30s. And the first one being is that everybody lied. Everybody lied. Your family lied to you, your loved ones lied to you, society lied to you, Black people lied, like everybody lied to you about what it's actually like and what's expected of you once you reach your 30s. I already explained it. It is what it is. Like, we can go down the line. We were told, well, those of us that are in their 30s now. So if you're in your 30s now, that means you were born in the early 90s or the late 80s. So around that time frame is when you were younger, growing up, and the things that were instilled in you, specifically talking about women, specifically talking about Black women. Certain things were just instilled to you at a very young age. And now that I've reached my 30s, I realize a lot of that was a lie. And some of it is just that, you know, the world turned into a different place and all of that, you know, hoo-ha. But regardless of if the world turned into a different place than what it was, y'all still fucking lied, okay? Y'all lied, and I'll just leave it there. I'll just leave it there. You guys know what I'm talking about, like the whole American dream, the family life, the success, and the generational this, and they freaking lied. But that's okay, because we're gonna move on to the next point. All right, so my second point in what I've learned since reaching my 30s. You are not old. It's like very simple. You are not old. Again, specifically talking to Black women in their 30s, you're not old. Like, I'm not gonna say what I think old is, because old can be a mindset. Sometimes I act old, like, you know what I mean? But generally, you're not old. Like, I think, you know, to be fair, if you're a senior citizen, you're old. We can agree on that. And I'm not even going to give numbers, like I said, except the fact that if you're a senior citizen, yes, you are old. If you are in your 30s, no, you are not. You're just not. It's, you know, ageism starts being, ageism starts being thrown in your face once you reach your 30s, and all these expectations just like fall on your back the moment midnight strikes and you're 30. I don't know what that's about, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, just because you are a Black woman in your 30s, that doesn't make you old. You are not old. Now, you might be too old for certain things, but we'll get into that later as well. But yes, to my second point, you are not old. We are not old. I am not old. You are not old. That is not old. Like, in your 30s, not old. Literally just touching the surface. It gets fun. So let's move on. Third point, plain and simple, once you reach your 30s as a Black woman, you're gonna feel like the difference in your confidence. And I'll explain why. So once you're a Black woman and you reach your 30s, keeping in mind, if you're in your 30s today, you were born early 90s, late 80s. So all the stuff they were telling us back then doesn't really apply to now, doesn't really make sense. It didn't really land well, right? So once you reach your 30s, it's kind of just like, oh, that wasn't so hard. Like that wasn't that bad. Or I I'm doing fine. Like, you're doing just fine. The whole midlife crisis thing, to be honest, I feel like that happens at 25, because as much as they say it happens at 30, because that's your half-life, quote unquote, at 25, like, you're stressing. You're like, I'm about to be so old. I'm 25 and I don't have this, and this. And it's just like, it's not the truth. 25 is literally just a number. Like, 25 isn't like, it is considered a milestone for some, but let's be honest, the things that you did at 24, you can do at 25, and the things that you had access to at 21 is the same at 25. So yeah, basically, like, they lied. So it goes back to the whole they lied. Once you reach your 30s, you're gonna realize you're not doing that bad. You don't have it all figured out, but you're not perfect, but you're accepting yourself because you're in your mature stage. And there's nothing wrong with that, because again, life is a journey. We're here to learn and things like that. So we should continue to do that and not be so caught up on like what people have been telling you all your life and things that don't even apply to your lifestyle. Like, make it make sense. So to my next point, another point to the confidence that you're gonna feel when you reach your 30s. It kind of, I want to say cockiness, we're gonna call it confidence, but the cockiness, it kind of debunks everything people have told you. So growing up, it's like, oh, if you don't have this, and this by the time you reach your 30s, you're a bum, you're unsuccessful, you're gonna die, all that stuff, right? And once you reach that age and then you're like doing just fine, like you're doing just fine, you're just like everybody else, you kind of feel like, yeah, well, actually, I'm the shit. Like, you actually feel like you're the shit, because let's be honest, like in your 30s, as a woman, you get more respect, you're more credible for whatever reason. Well, misogyny, but you're more credible, like you're taken more seriously. People do expect a lot more out of you, but they still respect the fact that you're an individual. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can stand on your own. Like, if I'm 21 years old and I go to like a dealership to get a car, they're gonna work me because I'm a girl and I'm young. If I go to a dealership at this here 31, nobody is gonna be running circles around me, and nobody's gonna be double crossing me, because the energy you bring is grown. People respect you as a grown woman because they feel like you're not in your 20s. Like, you don't get the same respect in your 20s that you're gonna get in your 30s being a Black woman, and I stand like completely behind that. There's no other way to explain it. It's just respect. Like, it is what it is. People respect your aura. It just is what it is. And this is what I'm saying, in your 30s, that could be anywhere between 30 and 40. Like, you could be 31, 37. People respect you in a different way that like you just don't get that same respect in your 20s. Like, so it's actually kind of lovely, the confidence that you're gonna get, because it's like, damn, people didn't come at me like this when I was in my 20s. That wasn't shit. And now you're looking at yourself like, I wish somebody would come at me like this the way they did in my 20s. Wouldn't happen. So to my next point. So once you reach your 30s, I am gonna go ahead and just be honest. Once you reach your 30s, you are stuck in your ways, and it's not a bad thing. I mentioned earlier about like how, everyone is still learning and growing besides, what age you are. We're all here to learn. We're all here to grow. We're here to experience life. So when you're experiencing life, it's just like, you have your ups and downs. The whole thing is a journey, right? So you're stuck in your ways, as far as not like you're not able to learn new things, like you can't process new things because, no, but you're stuck in your ways as far as the things that you've settled on. And it's not a bad thing. So it's like, say for instance, you've settled on the fact that, hey, like, and this is not me, but let's say you don't like alcohol. You've reached your 30s and you're like, I can't get with it. I don't get it. It's not for me. Once you reach your 30s and you have certain habits that actually make you feel comfortable and things that you naturally want and not what others want of you, you're staying there. Like, you're gonna fully stay there. So if you're like, man, I reached my 30s and liquor and this and that, and you're kind of just like, well, what's the point? I mean, I tried it in my 20s and it wasn't really, you know, kicking for me. So I'm not doing that shit in my 30s. I'm good. I'm straight. And you'll never take a drink. This is just an example. And the reason why I say it's not a bad thing is because this is finally your mind breaking into the fact that you have full autonomy over your life and your decisions. Full. Like, I've tried this in my 20s and I'm in my 30s and I'm not trying it again. Fair. Completely fair. But I'll tell you now, whatever you stop doing in your 20s, you'll probably never do again. You're not gonna go back and be like, oh yeah, now I'm about to go back and do things that I used to do 15 years ago. You would never do that as a Black woman in her 30s. Like, literally, we're not even allowed to make mistakes. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not even allowed to have little hiccups in our life. None of that. Nobody's trying to hear that shit because you're a grown woman, you know? But yeah, you better not be going back and doing dumb shit you used to do when you were in your 20s, because then you are too old to be doing that. That's when ageism comes in. It's just like, you need to do that shit another decade? Like, fuck no. But yeah, you're kind of stuck in your ways. I see for myself, like, certain things, I mean, I won't share, but like certain things about myself, I'm realizing that it's stuck. Like, it's permanent and that's it. Like, I'm never gonna go back to doing, you know, things the other way. Like, it's just always going to be like that for me. And sometimes you just have to realize that about yourself, because it's one of those things that could just creep up on you and you just realize, man, I don't do this anymore and I would never do this ever again. But once you do realize it, as things come up, you're like, okay, cool. Like, you can actually stand 10 toes down on your decision once you reach your 30s, because you've already experienced it in your 20s. You've already played with it in your 20s and it didn't work out for you, or you weren't interested in it. You didn't like the way you felt, or you didn't like the results. So now in your 30s, you're not even taking it there. It's just like, no, the answer is no. Like, the answer is no. And that brings me to my next point. Okay. I know my makeup looks so sloppy, but we're getting there. My next point. When you're a woman in your 30s, the greatest feeling is saying no. And you will learn to say no in your 30s. Even if you learn it at 39, baby, you're gonna learn to say no. You're gonna learn to say no, and you're gonna love the way it feels when you say no the first time. The first time, not like after 10 times of like, you know, an issue being pressed or whatever. You're gonna say no the first time. You're guarded. Because you've experienced whatever it is that, you know, made you experiment with whatever it is, and now you're like, no. You're like, no. And that's why it kind of ties into being stuck in your ways, because you're saying no for a reason. You're either blocking your peace, you're blocking access, you're on your way to freedom. Like, you're just like, no. I can tell you how many times in my 20s I should have just said no the first time. I'm not saying, oh, I never say no. No, I'm talking about saying no the first time. Like, somebody pitches something to you and the first time you say no, you could have saved yourself. You could have saved yourself time, energy, heartbreak, losing brain cells, doing things that just wasn't gonna it just wasn't gonna look up for you. Like, just thinking to myself, like, girl, if I had just learned to say no the first time, I wouldn't have 4 or 5 experiences of the same shit. Like, allow yourself to learn. Me talking to my 20-something-year-old self at the time. But yeah, it's a very good feeling for you to just be able to say no the first time. No the first time. Don't let people fucking play with you. Literally don't let people play with you. But once you get into your 30s, by that time, even though, you know, like I said, you're still young, you're fed up. Like, you're not trying to hear shit about shit. You don't give a fuck what people are talking about at this point. It's like, my decision, my word, and end of story. Like, you have full autonomy over the energy that you allow in your space. And it's a beautiful thing. Like, saying no is such a good thing, because it's like, case closed. The answer is no, case closed. That's it. Love it here. So, to my next point. So, other things I've learned since reaching my 20s is that men will try to trap you. And here's my theory. Men will try to trap you in your 30s because of, I mean, a bunch of reasons, right? Some of them being pick-me's, but we're not gonna talk about that because that's just one of a million reasons why a man would try you, right? But men will try you because of your age. So men have this strange idea that once you are in your 30s, that you're desperate. Men think you're desperate if you're dating in your 30s, period. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter how old he is. It doesn't matter how long he done known you. It doesn't matter how many times you rejected dude. Listen, men assume that single black women in their 30s and up are desperate. They genuinely believe that. So they feel as though they are a gift to you. But we're here to tell them they're not. And the reason why they think that is because ageism. That's one. Two, society tells women you're old if you haven't done certain things by a certain age in your life. So that's also society, which is ran by men. Okay, duh. Why is my camera fuzzy? Okay. So yeah, men just assume like, oh yeah, she's single in her 30s. Man, I can run game on her. Run game on who? Run game on who? Who the fuck you about to run game on? Who's desperate? The problem is people going online and crying about how they have no husband, no boyfriend, never had no boyfriend. Like, okay. I mean, like, it's just like, okay. But for that reason, men come at single women in their 30s like, oh man, she's getting older. Like, basically, let me trap her because she's getting old anyway. She's about to age out, like, whatever. You know, let me just come at this person a certain way because I'll probably just get what I want because she probably, you know, would fall for anything at this point. Or she's probably had like a lifelong of failed relationships. All of those things could be true, but none of those things really define why a man would feel okay trying to trap you. But you're gonna get that in your 30s if you are a single young lady. You're gonna get that. In your 30s, you will get that. You will come across men that will straight up tell you, why don't you have a kid by now? Or why don't you have this? You must don't want it, or you must can't get it, or there's something wrong with you because you're not married yet, you've never been engaged, you don't have a boyfriend, haven't had a boyfriend in a long time, projecting. And unfortunately, you're gonna have to get used to that. But it just goes into your confidence because you're gonna be defending yourself. By the time you reach 30 and plus as a woman, you're always gonna have to defend yourself against ageism, bullshit, stereotypes, stigmas, men. Like, you're always gonna have to defend yourself, literally always gonna have to do it. So get used to it now. But yeah, you're gonna have men just coming at you like you're the desperate one, like you need them. So you're gonna get a lot of like, oh, like, you're gonna get a lot of men that do everything right in the beginning, but nothing right once like they feel like they have you, or once they feel like, you know, you have feelings for them. Then they're just gonna be doing whatever because they're like, man, her biological clock is ticking. I like her, but I could, you know, she's getting older, so she's gonna deal with whatever I come with. No, baby, you're gonna deal with whatever I come with. That's the truth. So it's something that like I never imagined that I would have to navigate because it didn't cross my mind. Like, I mean, I know men ain't shit, sure, but I didn't know that there'd be such a big difference in the way that they interact with you once they see that you're single and in your 30s. Like, they really try to, I mean, men always try to run game. Like, they live off that. But the type of games they play change, and I'm just like, can't y'all just be genuine sometimes? Like, can't you just, I want to be able to say a good thing about a man. Even me being single, like, I want to be able to say a good thing about men, but a man, but it's so hard because they're so complex. And like, figuring out like the way men think, I mean, that's the reason for gender wars, let's be honest. But like, men are so complex. It's just like you would run, if they could, they would run circles around you. If you allow it, they will run circles around you. They will run every single type of game they've never even played and just do that shit on you because you're single in your 30s and you're a woman. Like, oh, she must need a man. She must be desperate. She must be heartbroken. She must be, you know, miserable being single. And that's not even the case. Which brings me to my next point. Date yourself. Like, date yourself, okay? Like, sure, dating in general, like, you know, if that's what you're into, cool. Don't be afraid to take a season off or anything like that. But rather, if you're in a relationship or single, heartbroken, separated, like, date yourself. Because once you reach your 30s, with the way society's gonna start moving real quickly and like basically sweeping you out the rug and making way for the 21 to 22-year-old younger women or whatever, you're gonna wish that you spent more time with yourself to get to know you. You wanna get to know you in your next stage. And honestly, every time you have a birthday, you should be trying to get to know you a little better because you're maturing as it is. But I mean, any type of reflecting works too. Like, you need to be always like making yourself feel good and doing things that make you happy and spending your free time doing things that like benefit you, like, because you're living for you, are you not? Like I said, if you're in a relationship or not, like, you should still always be getting to know yourself. Like, it was something that I didn't realize until a couple months ago about myself. And I'm so happy I realized it finally because it's a part of my journey, like I said. And then on top of that, it's just like, bet, I just learned something new about myself. This is beautiful. Like, I'm still getting to know myself and I'm able to navigate life as an individual, getting to know myself. Now, of course, if you're in a relationship, that might be different. But again, I still feel like you should still be getting to know yourself, date yourself, treat yourself well, even if you're not single. Like, you should always be prioritizing yourself. Because nobody's gonna prioritize you. You don't come first in anybody else's life except your own. Like, let's be honest. Everyone would put their life before others. So it's like, why not maintain it? Why always give yourself up to the next relationship when you haven't spent no time with you? Like, what's wrong with alone time? What's wrong with reflecting? You can't do that kind of stuff when you always in somebody's face. Like, you can't reflect when you're so busy maintaining your relationship, you're so busy pleasing people at work and living up to unrealistic standards that people have set on you and stuff like that. And meanwhile, you haven't even splurged on yourself. Like, buy yourself some flowers, go work on a passion project, go out by yourself, go try some new food, make a new memory, discover something, just spend time with yourself. I was told this a very long time ago, and this is not a different point, but it's just something that always stuck with me. Like, it just always stuck with me. But you know how, well, not you know how they say, but what I was told is that, like, as a young woman, you should always live by yourself. Take some time to be by yourself. And I mean completely by yourself, because once you get into a relationship, you're never going to be alone. Because past a certain age, you know, like once you're not living with your family anymore, you're basically gonna be either in a relationship, which will lead to having a child, or getting married, which is a relationship. So you'll never have alone time, and you'll never get that time back to be alone. Unless you lose it all, of course, which is not the goal, but you'll never be this young and, you know, free ever again, because, you know, eventually you're gonna get married, or eventually you're gonna get into a serious relationship. Eventually, you know, life is gonna be lifing, and next thing you know, like, you don't have your alone time. I don't know, you might have a dog or something, and even that is not alone time. Like, you're sharing space with a furry friend. But I always took that seriously because I never really understood that concept until I got older. Because I didn't see the value in being alone. I thought being alone meant loneliness. Baby, that is not what being single is. Don't let nobody tell you being single is equivalent to loneliness, because that is not true. You can be single and not lonely or miserable or desperate or a pygmeisha. So yeah, that just always stuck with me, because I just thought like, man, like alone, like that's scary. Like, you know, that's frightening, being alone. Me in my early 20s. Now me in my 30s, being alone is just the time that I can take to reflect on stuff, cry if I need to, laugh alone, enjoy peace, and like I said, get to know me better, because there's so much more to you as your life progresses than like what's on the surface or what you have on your plate like right now. There's way more to learn about yourself. But don't let like anything stop you from like getting to know yourself. Like, remove yourself from things that just aren't gonna like, you know, help you be fine. Like, you know, like be like confident, all those things that you're supposed to be in your 30s. Like, don't let little shit get up in the way of that, because you're not gonna get this time back. You will be 60 something someday, and you will be old. Like, you're gonna be a senior citizen someday, and you will be old. Okay, just all I'm saying. So next point. So sharp. But there's more to life than romance. And I want to say that again. There is more to life than romance. That's just a fact. I mentioned earlier, we're here to learn and whoop-de-whoop. Like, we're here to experience life. So we need to be in settings to experience things. Positive lessons, heartbreak, tragedy. We're here to experience life. Okay? We're not here to mate. We're not here to just mate. Like, we're not here to just do that. We're not on earth to do one thing. Because if we were here to do one thing, we would be doing one thing. And one thing only. We would be incapable of doing two things at once, because we were here to do one thing. So we're not like here to be a robot. We're not here to just do that one thing. We're not here to just reproduce. We're not here to just get married. We're not here to just fall in love. We're not here to go on 1,000 first fucking dates. Like, we're not here to do those things. There's so much more to life than romance, dating, sex, gender wars. There's more to life than all of that. And the reason why I say that I realized this in my 30s is because, back to one of my earlier points, the way men approach you is like that you are desperate, you need them, you want them, and this is your last end all be all, and that you're old, you're desperate, and he can do whatever he wants, like run circles around you, and it's okay because you're in your 30s and you're old, and none of that. Literally none of that. It's almost like, and we do have to blame the pygmeishas, but it's almost like women that just come off like their happiness depends on a relationship are miserable. Like, you are genuinely miserable if you seriously feel like you need a relationship in order to be happy, like to achieve happiness. You wasn't born in a relationship. You could do without it. Like, there's more to life than dating and romance. Dating is going to teach you stuff. Like, you're gonna have experiences dating and, you know, loving and all that stuff, and I completely accept that. But what I won't accept is people making it their personality trait, because relationships come and go, and people, they come and go. So who are you once the relationship is over? Or who are you once your partner passes away? Or who are you once your partner leaves you? Or once your partner leaves town? Like, who are you? Who are you? So that goes back into my point, is getting to know yourself, treat yourself, allow yourself to experience life. There is more to life than romance and dating. I promise you. There was a time in my life when I was just like, oh my gosh, like, you know, companionship, but it's just like, at what cost? Like, at what cost? At what point do you just say, yo, I'm just not going to talk to nobody right now. Like, I'm going to just take myself out, treat myself well. Why don't I just take some time to treat myself the way I would want a partner to treat me, all the while I'm, you know, just navigating the world until I find that person. What is wrong with that? Like, what is so taboo about just taking time to get to know yourself versus you trying to force scenarios on men that don't want to be with you? They don't want to make you happy long term. They'll never marry you. They will never respect you. Like, they will always cross boundaries. Why bend your back for men these days? Like, literally, there's somebody on TikTok right now with a podcast victimizing himself because of dating and blaming it all on a woman. There's somebody doing that right now. Right now. There's somebody doing that right now. Meanwhile, there's somebody else on TikTok that's teaching us how to fucking day trade. Where are you going to spend your time? Baby, I'm going to spend my time trying to learn some new skills that's going to make me some more fucking money versus like figuring out why men do this and what it means when they do that and da-da-da and dealing with this and this and that. That does not bring me happiness. Money brings me happiness as well. I mean, of course, you know, living a happy life keeps me happy, but money brings me happiness. Food brings me happiness. New experiences, achievements, a lot of different things should make you happy, and they all don't revolve around a relationship. I think sometimes women forget that relationships are roller coasters. Like, you can be in a genuinely happy and successful relationship, loving and everything you want, and it still has its ups and downs. You could be happy and it still has its ups and downs. So if you're depending on like a relationship to keep you happy, you're not happy. Like, you're not happy, because that happiness can be taken away from you. The relationship could end, and now you're not happy. Now you're not happy and you're miserable. Because you need to just love you for you, brother. You need to love the version of you that's single. You need to love the version of you that's broke. You need to love the version of you that is fulfilled. You need to love the version of you that's, you know, out of shape. You need to love every version of yourself, because nobody is gonna do you like you. Nobody's gonna treat you better than you. Nobody. Nobody is gonna put you first. No one. Literally. Nobody's gonna put you first. I'm here to tell you, nobody's gonna put you first at all. Nobody. You will literally, you're not at the top of the list. You're just not. Because we're in our 30s now. Like, we're in our 30s now. Nobody's here to just like, oh, cry on the shoulder. You don't really have that in your 30s, because you're a big girl now. You don't really have that. That's more expected of, like, you know, the younger crowd and stuff like that. Like, once you hit your 30s, you're expected to be able to like hold it together. That's another thing. You're gonna have to hold it together. So if you're always miserable about a man, it's just like, you're never gonna be happy, and you're never gonna feel the confidence that you should be feeling as a Black woman in her 30s today. Like, literally, Black women are out earning our male counterparts at such a high rate, and I love seeing it. And it's just like, that makes me happy to know that, okay, one day I'll be able to do that. Or, you know, that's what my demographic is doing. That is very encouraging. It's like, I want to be a part of that statistic. I want to out earn. I want to be at the top 10th percentile and shit like that, and out earn my male counterparts. Why not? Like, I want to achieve things. And it's just like, I think nowadays we just look at relationships as achievements, and I just don't think that they are. Because like I said, I just feel like we're here for multiple reasons, to learn and things like that. And I just don't feel like relationships are at the top of the totem pole. I feel like, you know, we should be learning and growing, but like, it's not, relationships aren't like food, shelter, water. Like, realistically, you can do without it. Like, do they, I don't know, do you get like short-term disability when your boyfriend breaks up with you? Do you get benefits at work? Like, do you get, I don't know, like points at Starbucks? You don't get anything. So let's stop putting relationships on the highest pedestal of your life, because perhaps it's just not your season. And I'm going to finish my makeup, but I'm going to end with this. Like, this one is hard, but it is really my truth, and I've accepted it, of course. everybody, all you women in your 30s, everybody, that's who I mean by everybody, you're not gonna get everything that you want out of life. And that applies to everybody. Everybody's not gonna get every single thing that they want in life in the sequence of events that you want it. So like, say for instance, I want it tomorrow. Yeah, I might not get that tomorrow. I might get it 3 years from now. And that's just life. I mean, I still got it, but I didn't get it when I wanted to get it. And with that, you learn in your 30s, you're not gonna get every single thing that you want out of life. And that also, I'm so sorry, that also includes love. Because, you know, obviously you're gonna fall in love and all that stuff, but I mean, if you're in your 30s and a woman, you know love is not enough to keep a relationship. So you will find love in your life, but I don't think everybody's gonna find like the ultimate love. Like, I can't even think of a couple right now. What's a couple that's like, oh, the picture perfect relationship? I was gonna say Will and Jada, but I don't think that. But I guess Sierra and Russell Wilson, like, you know, everyone's not going to have that picture perfect love story. It's just not. Everybody's just not going to get that, because let's just be realistic. Let's be realistic. You have to get hurt in, I love this lip combo. You have to get hurt in life in order to learn. And I'm not here to tell you you'll never find love. No, I think everybody finds love. But I don't think everybody finds their ultimate love, and by that I mean a soulmate. I don't think everybody will find a soulmate, but I also don't think that's a bad thing, because if you find love, I guess the soulmate and love is like two different levels, sure. But if you have a soulmate, you have found your love, right? But if I found love in life and I didn't stay with that love, it doesn't mean I didn't find love. I can't just throw the whole shit away like I didn't experience something. You definitely did, and you probably learned something. So I feel like people just need to be a lot more realistic and put other things in priority over relationships, because you will find love. Love doesn't always have to be a romantic partner. Love is your best friend. Love is your dog. Love is your job, your industry. Love is your family. Love is pictures and memories. Love is a lot of things. It doesn't always have to be a boyfriend. Like, it doesn't always have to be a boyfriend. It doesn't always have to be potential husband, baby father. It doesn't have to be all of that. Love is just love. And I think people don't appreciate it as much unless it comes in the form of a boyfriend. Like, I genuinely think that people just have it skewed. But once you're in your 30s, you're gonna realize that. Because you're gonna look back like, oh, I did experience some of these things, and oh, okay, maybe I took it for granted, or maybe I was too young to like really appreciate it. But you're gonna experience everything in life, period. So it's kind of just like I said, not in the sequence that you want it to be. You might want something tomorrow, but it's not on its way tomorrow. But I think that's okay, because isn't that a part of the journey? Like, does nobody appreciate their journey anymore? But so I'm about to finish getting ready, get back on here to show you guys the final results, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the finished look. I didn't do much else except my lips, and then I put on a little spray. I didn't put on lash strips because I suck at lash strips. Like, that is the end of the road for me. Like, I am not good at putting them on, keeping them clean, maintaining them, finding them. Like, I cannot do strips anymore. I'm so sorry. But and I skipped the mascara because I don't feel like dealing with that either. So I have one lash left. Beautiful. But yes, let me know what you think about this video. Leave in the comments if you want me to do more videos like this, because I do like to talk some shit sometimes. So let me know how you feel about it. I'm actually on my way out to take myself out. I'm about to try this place with all these overpriced drinks. I don't know why, but I just want to try it. That's why I'm just like chilling, but yes, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Mwah! No worries.